Hello. Hey guys, awesome to be here. I'm just gonna jump on my page and make sure that technology is my friend because, okay, I'm working. Yay. So this evening, drum roll please, I'm super thrilled to have Beck from the Fiscal Mum join us. I have asked lots of you for feedback on the hey Tamara or hey Claire, awesome to have you guys here. I've asked lots of you for feedback on these sessions, how you found them. If this is the first time you're joining, we have run maybe 4, I think, before now. All heroing and focusing on a service provider that can help you in your business. So we've talked SEO, we've talked photography, the works, and these are specifically designed with you in mind so that you are feeling more confident and well equipped in how you might employ a service provider like Beck tonight, or hey Lucy, so awesome to have you here, or why you would work with a photographer or an SEO expert like Carly was a few weeks ago, months ago now probably. I've had a little hiatus in between my last one. I've been on holidays for a few weeks, and we're back, and 8 p.m. daylight savings time is just that little bit harder. So my little people are still here, or they're still here, thankfully they're still here. Off to a cracking start. They are still awake. Just really hard. Sometimes the juggle and the struggle is hard. Kristen, I have a client call right now. I'll have to watch the replay. I'll hang around while I wait for her to answer. Don't worry, we've all been there. The last time I did one of these calls, I had a clash with the Game of Thrones finale, which, to be honest, was really bad planning on my behalf, but bless the cotton socks for those of you who hung around. It was awesome to have you here. I'm just going to see if I can find Beck. She's not here just yet. Don't you just love technology? Have you had a good Monday? Mine's been nuts, but super exciting. The week is off to a cracking start, and it's only Monday evening. It's just crazy. Nuts. Beck, I don't think you are here yet, and I don't think you can hear me. I can't see you either. So you just jump on when suits, and I will link you in. So I've had lots of feedback from you guys around finances, and being a small business owner myself, I know they are probably one of the more daunting elements of business. And I guess that comes from a place of fear, in the sense that, we're all in business to make money. So if it's not working and we're not making money, what do we do and what are we doing wrong? And it just all seems a bit overwhelming and all too hard. So I'm just going to ignore it and put my head in the sand. And rest assured, I have had moments like that as well. So don't worry. But I just thought it would be worth getting Beck on tonight to talk us through some really simple approaches or tactics that we can all implement tomorrow in both our personal lives and also our professional lives. That sounds really funny, professional lives. But I think it's really important to address the stuff that scares you the most. And I say that wholeheartedly, and I'd say that because I tend, it's human nature for us to run away from the stuff that scares the pants off us. And finances, and how you manage your finances, and how you look at them, and how you toggle between the business and the home bank accounts and income and cash flow and all that sort of stuff is the scary part. So that's exactly why Beck's coming tonight, to help reassure you, I guess, that it doesn't have to be as scary as we all think that it is, and it doesn't have to be uber time consuming either. There are some really cool stuff, great English, some great tactics and tools that Beck's got that she'll talk us through tonight that really will help you, or really will help all of us, for it to become a bit more habitual. So it just kind of becomes another element to your business, like monitoring your social media, or like, keeping track of where your sales and where your income is coming from. Because if you're not making money in your business, you've just got a really expensive hobby. And I say that to my clients quite a bit. which we kind of then scoff and go, yeah, ha, ha, ha. But, oh, how do you join? Okay, I can't see you. Oh, why can't I see you back? Nope, I can't see you. So, you should be popping up. You're my friend. And you should be popping up on my feed as having joined. I can't see you yet. So it's telling me that you haven't joined the live, which is a bit weird because you're commenting. So that's weird within itself. Just love technology. I can't see that you're a live viewer, Beck, which is a bit weird. Joyful, just joyful. No, you don't need to go live. No, if you just start watching and join this live, I should see you pop up as one of the viewers. So if you're actively watching this live, I should see that you're doing that. And then I can invite you to join. Sinead, hello. All the way from Ireland. It's so nice to have you. Oh, thanks for joining us. I think you need to join Beck as yourself because that's who I'm friends with. That's how the back end works, I believe. So if you join my Facebook Live as yourself, you should pop up. I did check that we're friends. Oh, terrible accent. Sinead, I have an awesome Irish accent. What are you talking about? It's because I don't see enough of you or talk to you enough to be able to copy your accent. I'd like to hear your Aussie accent one day, and I'm sure it's equally as bad as my Irish. Okay, Beck, we can do this. So if you join this live as Rebecca Ma, who I'm friends with on Facebook, you should pop up as being live or a live viewer, and then I can invite you to join me, which is not working at the moment. The rest of you can just chat amongst yourselves. If you do have any questions for Beck, by all means, comment below. Yeah, I will absolutely keep my eye on things as we can kind of track along and shout out, because that's where the beauty comes from, or where the benefit of all this comes from, I guess, is being able to ask those questions and not feel like a dick for asking some of those 101 kind of questions. Oh, it's just not working for you. Okay, I don't know what you're meant to do. Let me see why this is not working. I actually just don't know how to manage this, my friend. Just checking that you're on your phone, because that's apparently the only way in. So you're just checking that you're on your phone and it's landscape. So it's this way, not this way. So it's got to be this way. We're definitely friends, which is a good help. I've done so many of these and they've all worked for me. No, you're still not popping in. Why is that? Now my whole thing's frozen. It's not very helpful. Beck, maybe if you drop out of the live and then come back and rejoin. I have no idea whether that's going to work, but it's like turning the computer off and turning it back on again. It sometimes works. So maybe leave the live if you're still on the call. I can't see you at all, so it's a bit hard to tell. But maybe leave and come back, and I'll see if that prompts. Come back as yourself, not as your business page, and I'll see if that pops up at my end. Otherwise, Yeah, it's definitely telling me that I'm friends with you on Facebook. So it absolutely should be working. And you're still not popping up for me. Now I feel like I'm wasting everybody's time. Just checking that your phone is like this. You're definitely on your phone and your landscape. Ah, the joys. Modern technology. I'm going to give it another minute or so, and I just don't want to waste everybody's time by sitting there and waiting, so we might have to take it into a blog format or something like that and answer some of those questions that we've already established. And if anybody else has got questions, we can build on that as well. I'm just really conscious of wasting everybody's time for the amazing people that have joined us live. And we've got some 10 eyeballs on us. We've got some good numbers tonight. It's nice to see a few people here. It's just annoying that technology's not working. If anybody else knows how to use Facebook Live better than I do, I haven't had this problem at all, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But I'm going to give it another minute or two, and I can't see you. You're not popping up at all on my live, Beck, so it's telling me that you're not here as such. So I don't... I am sure we're friends. I just checked we're friends. It can be very fickle. Thanks, Claire. We dreamt personal friends. I just added you. Yeah. I checked earlier today. Hilarious. Just hilarious. No, I don't have a friend's request from you. Oh, hang on. What's this? What's this little thing that's just popped in? Okay. I'm confirming your new friend's request. Can we make this work? Now you might need to pop out of this and then pop back in, the joys, and see if that works. I can see. I'm inviting you, so hopefully you feel like you're, and we're connecting. Yes! Miracle!
Yeah! Oh my God, that's so stressful.
Oh, don't worry. Thank you. It's so good that we finally got together.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Okay, I need to calm down now. I'm furiously typing away there.
And there's a bit of delay at my end, so I'm like, yes, no.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
Very hard.
you're here.
I'm
It's
here.
so good to see you.
Okay. Is everything?
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. You
Okay.
look amazing. We're right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for persisting, and thank you for the amazing people that stayed online with us. Awesome job. We lost a few, but that's okay. More fool them for leaving quickly.
Well, they'll still replay anyway. So.
Exactly. So, in all of my preamble and my waffle while trying to fill time, I've talked up your amazingness, and just kind of, I guess, set the scene for it's absolutely okay that we have traditionally stuck our head in the sand when it comes to finances. They are a little bit scary, a little bit overwhelming. I'm not as comfortable talking to them with you or my next door neighbour or my partner, so I'll just kind of avoid them altogether, which is the easy option, and it's the kind of natural human instinct to go, too hard bucket. Yeah. But that's kind of where you come in, because it shouldn't really be like that, and it's probably not the best way for us to be managing, ourselves and our businesses. So tonight I want to talk through, what are some great tactics or some tools that we can all be putting into practice and into place that will help us professionally and personally, because as much as we like to kind of distinguish the personal and the professional, they are one of the same, especially in a lot of cases when it comes to finances. Yeah. So why don't you kick off by telling us who you are, where you come from, what the Fiscal Mum is all about, and how you came to be where you are today.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm Rebecca. I'm the Fiscal Mum. Now I am a mum to two little girls, Olivia, who's almost 4, and I have Isabel, who's 8 months old. And I don't think my husband's home yet, so I hope I don't have one of those BBC moments where I have my 4-year-old back in.
Don't worry, I've already preambled with mine are still awake, so mine are just as likely to come dancing in any minute. So don't worry, we're all mums.
Good to know. Yeah. So look, I'm a licensed financial planner, and I started the Fiscal Mum. Originally started it as a blog 3 years ago. I left the corporate world when I had my first baby. Well, I didn't quite cut the strings, but I was on maternity leave, and I was doing some work. I had been working in financial services for about 7 or 8 years, and I was doing some work for a family business. And I was really passionate. I've always been really passionate about money and finances, and that's just my thing. So, as nerdy as that is, but I kind of got, that was just there. Sort of, I was wanting to do something, so I created this blog, The Fiscal Mum, as a passion project originally, to help educate women and mums, because at being a new mum myself, I was a woman already, obviously, but becoming a mum as well, I started to talk to lots of other women who were new mums, or had young families, who were struggling with their finances. They'd started small businesses, again on maternity leave, leaving the corporate world, but they hadn't got their family finances under control and were stressed about that, and they'd started a business, so there were added financial pressures with that as well. Out of this blog, I was going to change the world with that, and people were interested in what I was, writing about it, and the information I was putting together in a really easy and understandable way, and relevant way as well, because a lot of the stuff out there is, it's like from, baby to retirement, we're in a very period of our lives. So, but people were, saying to me, well, can you help? Like, can you actually help me? Like, can you work for me or coach me or teach me or provide, give me advice? And obviously being a licensed profession, I couldn't. So I went back to, I started my own business. I turned it into a boutique financial planning business, where I have my own client base. And I work with mums in 2 ways. And that is one-on-one, so a bit more traditional, sort of personalised or tailored financial advice. And that's either a one-off or on an ongoing advice basis. And then the other is my new business baby, which is my signature program, which is Secret for Mums. So, and that's basically a program with sort of laser focused content on finances, the biggest, areas of struggle. And then a community, so I do taking action sessions, Facebook Lives inside a private group, where I help people like implement the information that I'm, for the course itself. Have like money dates with each other, and I do master classes once a quarter where I give them information on a specific topic, like investing for your kids or stuff like that. So that's what I do, and that's who I am.
Yeah, amazing. And so it's so nice to have somebody normal to talk to about that sort of thing, because I think financial planners or a traditional financial planner is a little bit or can be, you can feel a bit that they're judging you a little bit, and it's quite a formal, structured environment. And a lot of the time I find my clients and a lot of mums don't feel confident talking about finances, or they're not as strong education wise or as in a strong financial position as they would like to. So it's a bit of an embarrassing topic. So it's such an amazing resource for people to have access to somebody like you who's absolutely qualified in all of it, but also a bit normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like approachable, you know, because it's
yeah,
so
thank you. Maybe not normal. Yes, approachable.
The industry.
I'm sure you're normal as well.
Yeah, the industry is so it is like traditionally male dominated, and there's a very high proportion of the industry is also older, from a different generation that was very much sales focused, and product focused. So you know, the younger, you know, there are more women entering the profession now, and that's something the industry wants to do, but still it's, you know, they're being coached by traditional planners who are trying
old school.
Yeah, old school. So and that's also kind of the motivation for why I want my own thing in financial planning, because I think women are left out in a way from seeking advice, because they feel intimidated, because that kind of approach resonate with them or with us, because we think differently about money anyway. We think about money in terms of lifestyle and end goals, as opposed to like financial concepts and figures and, you know, investment growth and return on and all that stuff. So most of the time, like a lot of what I do with clients, if they want to know all that stuff, I'll talk to them. But if most of them don't, they just want to talk about what it is they want to achieve, like what it is they want in life, what they want for the kids, where they want to live, what, you know, kind of house they're trying to get on, what kind of holidays they want every year, some idea about what they want to do in retirement, and I just make all that stuff feel more tangible, like, to them.
So what are some of those really common issues or challenges that you know, kind of come across with your clients that I'm sure all of us experience in business or in personal life?
Well, I think, you know, it does really depend on the person. You know, there's a lot of commonality in the clients that I work with, because they are tend to be younger families. So they're still trying to, you know, accumulate wealth and get started from a financial perspective. But I think in terms of, you know, a lot of your audience will be small business owners as well, so solopreneurs or mumpreneurs, or any word anyone's comfortable with for,
a buzzword,
you know, a woman on her own in business. And I think some of the small challenge, you know, financial challenges for us women in business, you know, there's probably three that come up a lot, and that would be, you know, sort of a lack of, or too heavy in terms of financial systems, so both on the personal side and the business side. And then you touched on it earlier, sort of that commingling of business and personal finances. And then debt is probably another big one. So going into debt too soon, or necessarily perhaps, just because you didn't see another way, or another way wasn't presented to you in at the right time. So, I mean, just going back, like taking financial systems, for example, you know, a really simple way of looking at that is, you know, take monitoring of accounts receivable, you know, or invoices due payable, like something as simple as that, but not followed up with, or not tracked or monitored appropriately with the right systems, you know, can have huge consequences, like in terms of, if it's not being done, then cash flow is going to be an issue, and obviously your revenue and bottom line is going to be an issue. But it's something that's really simple to fix. And the other one is tax, you know, tax records. So, you know, if there's not even just a simple sort of bookkeeping system going on, not does it make it just creates this big thing that you have to deal with at some point, but it also affects the cash flow position again, because, you know, likely there's claim deductions and, you know, again, going revenue, invoicing, all those kinds of things just aren't sort of working nicely. So yeah, so that, I mean, a lack of financial systems is a common theme, but then on the other side, people going too heavy on systems, too, you know,
that's quite interesting,
straight out of the gate. So I think, you know, when we start a business, you know, we're bombarded with like all the things that we should be doing to make sure we're successful, so we don't become one of the 5 that fail. That's
be a 1%er. Be a 1%er.
Statistic. Yeah, I mean, it's true, and it's important to be aware of it. But I think people go real heavy on the business plan and the system to support that business plan, you know, straight out the gate, when it might be taking time away from you actually doing this. And
building your business.
Yeah, and there's no point in having too much structure or too many systems too soon from a financial controls perspective if there's no money coming in anyway. You want to test that whole concept, the business, the flow of things before you do that. But having said that, simple systems just make sense initially, just to make sure that purely from what's coming in to what's going out. Even if it's your domain name and your first client, they're the only 2 transactions, at least you've got an idea of what's going on. You've got a system that you can build on as your inflows and your outflows start to grow. So
and so what does success look like in that space? Is that using an Excel spreadsheet and tracking the ins and the outs? Is that using something like Xero? What would you recommend for, you know, a startup or an early business?
Yeah, I think anything that works for you, really. I mean, it could be argued that, if you are slightly more orientated, it could be argued that using something like Xero, which I find pretty intuitive, from the beginning, because it's not expensive and it's pretty simple to use. It could be argued as the sensible way to go, because then you don't have to change your system later. Having said that, if that's not your thing, or that just seems like there's no way I'm going to do that, then you just want to use a spreadsheet. I mean, the important thing is, as well, when it comes to money and managing money, personal or business, I think women, we get a little bit caught up with whether we're doing it right.
That's true.
I think, and therefore we think, oh, I don't know if that's the right way, so I'll just leave it, or, you know, I'll wait till I've got to this point and then I'll go and ask an accountant or a financial advisor, and then, but then it never happens.
They'll fix it.
Yeah. So I think it's just do something and try and, you know, get guidance, get some input if you've got literally no idea, but get some guidance. And just get a system working. And like any system in your business, or whether it's your marketing or your email service provider or whatever it is, you just you
start.
Incrementally upgrade. You work out what's not working, and then you change it.
We've got a question here from Tamara, who's got an awesome jewellery business. I'll warn you, it's best that you don't look, because it's addictive. Her products are amazing. And she said the books have always been pushed to the bottom of the business to-do list, or too hard basket that I was saying before. So how do you suggest I start recording my finances and don't scare myself away and not do any tracking? Because I guess that reality of, oh God, this is actually where I'm at today, can be quite scary for somebody. So I guess you've just sort of almost answered that as well, as far as how do you start. It's about putting that simple system in place and starting.
Yeah, well, I will say I'm not an accountant, so I'm a financial advisor, so I'm real good with the personal side. But even from my perspective, for what I do with my own business, when I started the business, I had initial, you know, I have an advantage in that it's come a little easier to me, but I've made an appointment with my accountant and sat down with them and worked out how it is they want me to, you know, what accounts they want me to use. mean bank accounts, I mean, like your chart of accounts. So, from a profit loss perspective, how they want me to, structure my cash flow. And if you're a sole trader, or even if you have a company, I have a company, that's probably your first port of call. Or if you don't have an accountant and you're using a bookkeeper, they'll probably be able to guide you in the same way.
Same thing.
Just have that initial meeting to get that initial understanding and game plan of how you're going to use it. And then, I personally would use something like Xero. They can also set it all up for you, in terms of once you've had that meeting, you've agreed on the accounts, they can set up your bank accounts, they can set up the bank feeds, they can set up the chart of accounts, and then show you how to reconcile all the transactions. So have that, I know it sounds terrible, but have that meeting, and then do it. And I'd say do it on a monthly basis. No, it might be best practice if you asked an accountant or a bookkeeper to do it weekly, but it's hard to do everything weekly. So monthly, and just as to start with, I mean, if you get good at it and you it's not an issue, you might push that to quarterly in line with your BAS or whatever. But initially monthly, and just make a habit of it. Especially initially, I don't know how long into business she is, but for people who are just starting out, they're going to have like maybe 20 transactions a month or something, or less. So it's a great place to start then, rather than having to learn when you've got, like a million things to do later.
Yeah. And I know in my business, it was just trying to turn it into a habit. Yeah. And I work predominantly one-on-one with my clients, so I don't have, I don't have millions of new clients every single month. So there's not this huge, big, long list of things to do. Exactly. Yeah. Probably quite similar. But it's now in my diary for the same, I do it randomly on a Thursday, but the third, I don't even know why, but the third Thursday of every month, it's in the diary. And I just have 2 hours allocated and locked in there so that I know that it's coming and I know that it gets done in that way.
Perfect.
And that's just turning it into a routine and turning it into a habit, I guess.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
No, and it's easy to avoid and just do later and later and never do it. One of the things you mentioned earlier on is the blurring of the lines between business and personal. Yeah. What do you do? Like, how do you set yourself up for success from the get-go when you are, in a lot of cases, testing the waters, I guess, in those early days? Have you got any ideas or tips in that space?
Yeah, look, I think it's hard to like draw a line and say, right, from now or once you reach this point, you should have separate accounts and that. I think that's tricky, but so I think everyone needs to judge that for themselves. And realistically, when you're just starting out, there's going to be a little bit of, you're just going to be paying for the, personal side of things. But where, eventually it does become messy, as we all know, from a tax perspective. But also, it's not just a record keeping thing. It can also start to stifle the growth of the business, and also your own financial, goals and whatnot on your personal, from your household perspective as well. And that's basically because you stop being able to judge the respective performance of each of them because there's too much crossover. So you can't tell easily if you're cash flow positive at home or if you're cash flow positive in the business. And you could quite possibly be hiding a worse situation, which is that your business is draining your personal flow. And, we all know that the personal side of things is, we have a finite set of resources on the personal side of things. If you're in a couple, someone's got to come. The business is providing you with some sort of income, maybe, but that's it. And so if the businesses start, rifling through your personal accounts, then you're pretty likely there's a bit of debt being incurred on the personal side, or it's stealing all your savings, which again impedes your goals. So, and then on the other side of things, if you're draining all the cash out of the business to meet, pay electricity and meet your cost of living as a whole, or work, pay off your debt, and then there's nothing left to reinvest into the business, and
build the business,
holding it back. So it's of equal importance to monitor both sides of the equation, and make sure that you've got like an organized, sound sort of cash flow positive situation on both sides. So in terms of what I would recommend to help with that, absolutely have some sort of household budget in place so that you can see what your personal net cash flow is, and that is absolutely the purpose of a budget as well. I just want to add, because I know everyone hates budgeting, and I almost hate it too. I don't even like saying the word now, but I'm trying to think of a cool way to talk about budgeting, like a personal spending plan or something, because everyone has this idea that it's, as soon as you say the word budget, everyone goes, oh, like, I've got to stop doing this and stop doing this and stop doing this.
Yeah,
all about
limit myself.
It's all about limitation and deprivation. But in reality, the primary purpose in my mind anyway, and what I talk to people about doing a budget, is to actually see what that net cash flow number is. And the business, your clients will get that, because that's what, that's the first step to climbing that financial ladder on the personal side of things. If it's neutral, then you're just earning money and paying bills. If it's in the red, well, you're going backwards, and you want to do something. But if it's, that's what you want to find, the black number at the top, and then maximize that and do what you can with it, rather. So have that in the personal side as a starting point.
And what do you think that looks like, Beck? Is that an Excel spreadsheet? Is that tracking your credit card ins and outs? Is that sitting with your husband once a month? What does great home budgeting look like?
In the perfect world, I would say, if you've never done a budget before, I love to use a spreadsheet. I have a template on my website. I think that's the easiest way to start. It forces you to sit down, look at all your expenses, and at the same time you address their necessity, whether they're right, wrong, what you want to do with them. And then you've got a budget template. You've got your baseline, if you like. And then from there, I would definitely set up a certain structure for your bank accounts, which supports that budget, which is what I teach my clients. And basically it's a segregation of different accounts, so that there's no robbing Peter to pay Paul. Funds are there when you need them, in the right place. And then there's also, ideally, some sort of tracking element. And there are so many tools to do that these days. I mean, if cash flow is the lifeblood of business, which it also is for your personal affairs, it's what drives your ability to pay off debt. It's what drives your ability to invest. It's what drives your ability to make loans to your business for reinvestment, or, it's what gives you, it's what takes you where you want to go, basically. So if you're tracking it doesn't make sense, right? So there would be some tracking tools. So there's lots of different ones out there, and it's really a personal preference. With personal clients, or private clients rather, Xero, they have a personal cash flow tool for advice to use with clients, and but there are other ones out there. Like Money Brilliant is pretty good. So check those out and have a look. But that's what I would recommend. And then obviously, I mean, it sounds cheesy because the Barefoot Investor talks about it and everyone else talks about it, but having a money date of sorts, whatever that means, because it's such a loose term as well, with a partner, I think it is important, because money is one of the biggest causes of disagreement in households. I think we've all had disagreements over money with partners before, and not necessarily griping over this, that, or the other thing, but all the ways that it manifests itself in terms of, are we on track to meet this goal? We want to do this, but this is not working, la la la. So yeah, definitely think some sort of regular check-in. You know, you don't have to pencil it in per se and have an agenda, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you could, but you don't have to, as long as it's as long as it's something that it's getting done somewhere. Yeah. So that's on the
we from a personal level, we have money dates. We don't call them money dates because I don't know, I just feel like a bit of a loser calling them money dates. But I don't know why. It's like I feel like I need to take my calculator, which is equally daggy thing to do. But we do goal setting together. So, and again, it's not as wanky as it sounds either. But what's coming up in the coming quarter? Where are we going to go on a holiday in the next year? All of those kind of conversations, they all end up coming back about the money anyway. How are we going to afford to do that? You know, what the plan is for schooling for the kids, and all those kind of conversations. They do all ladder back into, okay, so we need to start saving for that, and I want a new car, and I don't really, but all those sort of conversations, it can be quite energizing. And I think if I went into it going, oh, we're going to go and talk about money, it'd be that head in the sand, depressing conversation. But because we've flipped it into this lifestyle, long-term, big picture, you know, conversation, it can be quite motivating if you kind of lean into it, face into it, and kind of go, okay, this is awesome. It's worth saving because we're going to fly to the moon or whatever it might be. No, I 100% agree. I think it's really important to be on the same page with your partner about your finances. It just makes life so much easier. I know that's not a reality for everyone as well. So, you know, I know some couples struggle with that. But you know, what I do say is, if that is the case, and in any case, you know, even if it's a good thing, I think people really struggle with, you mentioned goal setting, because it's, you know, we're all taught to goal set a specific way, you know, fill out a smart SMART goal sheet, and stick to it, and that's it. And it's really hard because, I mean, I talk about goals all day with people, you know, in my work. And when I go to write down my goals that way, I struggle. I find it really difficult. Just, you know, writer's block or whatever you might call it. But I can't seem to, that's the mind frame I sit down with to write goals. I find it really hard to write a list and a to-do list and a time frame, all that stuff. So I start a little bit back the chain with that visualization piece, and I know that sounds wanky too, but just identify, and again, like, just identifying with the image or the place or the feeling about what it is we're wanting to do. So, like you say, talking to your husband about that holiday you want to go, like, be specific about where you're going to stay, you know, what you're going to do when you get there, and, like, you know, get mutually invest in that image together, and then it becomes, like, as you say, this energized process about writing down the goals or the time that need to go with it from a financial perspective. So if you start there, it's like homework, but if you start with the fun stuff, which is the real life stuff, then it becomes so much easier. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, like, we're all striving for this thing called financial freedom, which, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit of a unicorn. It's like when you get a pay rise and you're like, oh, awesome, I've hit the X level, and then it's never enough. And then you get there and you need more and you need more. So what can we do now, or here in the moment, as women, not necessarily just as business owners, but just as, you know, independent women trying to live an amazing lifestyle? What can we be putting in place now to set ourselves up for success, not for retirement when I'm 100, because that's when I'm going to work till, but what can we be doing now to get our finances in a healthier position, regardless of, you know, where we're at?
No, definitely. And I just want to touch on that word unicorn, because I think it's, I love that word. I've never been able to put my finger on why I don't like financial freedom as a phrase. But unicorn is it, because, you know, and I think the financial services industry has done a little bit of a good job from their perspective in making, you know, using phrases like that, like freedom, financial independence, like such intangible word, like mystical words. You know, it feels intangible to the average person. They're like, well, what does that actually mean? And I think
and you never get there. Like, you can never actually get there. So you're always striving for something that's
because I
always
think,
just out of your reach.
And I think the reason that is genuinely because people don't actually know what they want, like, to start with. So we all have this idea of what financial freedom is, and it's, you know, what we see the really rich person on our street doing, or, you know, what we see on social media, like, you know, someone on a yacht somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you know, they're financially free. So
laptop lifestyle.
The laptop lifestyle. No, exactly. So let's just assume that's what we want. Forget it's called that, but let's just assume that's what we want. I believe there's, you know, 3 distinct parts to what that is. And I think the first part is what makes it feel really intangible to everyone, because it's going to be different for everyone. And that is, what does it actually mean, like, to you? Exactly. Because it's going to be different for everyone, because we've all got different financial means. We've all got different financial goals, and we've all got different attitudes towards money and lifestyle. So what's financially free to me might mean working 3 days a week for the rest of my life, so that I can spend, you know, the other 2 with my kids whilst ever they're young, and then, you know, I play tennis or something for the other 2. I don't even play tennis, but that's just
sure.
But to someone else, it might mean, you know, never working again. Might mean traveling first class for 6 months of the year and whatever. So again, financially free. It basically what does it mean to you?
Me.
Like, that to you, exactly. And most people really struggle with that because they don't know. Like, if they had to, it's a really long list, or it's like, well, I don't know, maybe I want this, or maybe I want this, or maybe I want this. And I think that's what feels intangible. I think that's the benefit of having a financial coach or a financial advisor, just because a real financial coach or a real financial advisor actually helps you articulate that, and that's gets you along the road a bit further. So that's the first part. And then it does come down to some numbers stuff. So what does all that equate to in terms of financial resources? Or what is the number that's required to do that, to make it happen? And then how do you do it? Like, you know, who has to manage what to get it to that number?
To get there.
So 2 and 3, you know, the last 2 you can outsource to someone. But the first one you can't outsource, you know, so you have to be able to work that out for yourself. So it'll always feel intangible until you do something about it, till you take the first step, really. And until you do, it's just, you know, your brain kind of has this picture, but it doesn't know how to get there. So to answer your question, I think 6-step, I basically have a 6-step plan, basically, for mums, which is kind of the framework for what I teach in Secret Money Business for Mums. And basically the first one is just to start owning your finances. And, you know, there's this great quote from Barbara Stanny, and she wrote Sacred Success. She's a bit of an authority on women and finance and mindset. And she says that your degree of resistance around something is proportionate to the amount of power waiting for you on the other side of that resistance. And I think it's so true for finance stuff, because once you do just get out of your own way a little bit and take that first step, like, if you're really freaking out about it, there's going to be so much transformation waiting for you on the other side of doing even just the littlest thing, let alone taking control. So I really think that's the first step, just getting out of your way mindset. The next one is to really get good at the cash flow. So make sure your personal cash flow is working, and you've got that, you're in the black, and you're maximizing the black, so that you've got all your financial resources fine-tuned and working for you. And then look, other strategies like to boost your cash flow, like to keep it going, to keep it growing, to keep it moving, and to unlock more funds. Basically look at your debt, reassess it, so double down on it. That doesn't mean you have to live, you know, on the smell of an oily rag and eat baked beans, but it just means that you have to be smart about it. There's often a lot you can do just by restructuring it, making some simple tweaks that will allow you to really like multiply, snowball, the term that's used, and then set up your financial safety net. So make sure that you've got cash reserves to fund your cost of, you know, your unplanned expenses, which prevent you from going further into debt. And also look at your insurances. You know, we're mums, we've got businesses, you know, some of us are sole income earners. You know, we're doing like multiple different jobs. We're like raising children, we're bringing in income, we're running households, like out, you know, it's a big risk for anything to happen to us. Or if you're starting off the business journey, it's a risk if something happens to your partner and they're the one that's supporting. It might mean you have to give up that dream and go back to the workforce. There's lots of risk stuff. So, and then the next step is then probably where you might want to talk to someone. And that is, what are you going to do with that extra black in the cash flow? What resonates for you in terms of growing it? Is it investing in property? Is it investing in shares? Is it investing for the kids in investment bonds? Or is it putting it back into the business? Like, what's going to, or is it just putting, you know, doing something with it to fund your lifestyle goals, like holiday a year, new car? And that's just what I call getting your game plan together for that. So I know that's not, it's not simple, but it's you know, it's the plan, really. Like, it's the way that it's the next set of steps, and it's so achievable.
Well, and if it was simple, we'd all be we'd all be doing it.
Well, that's
and
right.
I think, like, there's I won't say none of my clients are, because I know some of them are, but it's scary and it's overwhelming and it's intimidating. So if it was as simple as just X, Y, and Z, then people would be like living and breathing it. But it's the how do you start? It's the how do I pay myself an income? What does a budget look like? And it's amazing that you've got a template. I might link that in below as well, so people can just download that and start mapping that out, and then they can tailor it to what works for their income streams or whatever it might be. But you've just got to kind of lean into it and step up and go, okay, I'm going to take a little bit more responsibility when it comes to managing the red and the black, and hopefully there's more black. And it's not going to be perfect from the get-go, but you just have to start, I guess.
Exactly. You've got to start somewhere. And, you know, I know a lot of women feel disempowered, and it's a weird, like, cultural contradiction, really, because we're so, you know, we're so proud of and vocal and active in, you know, society, in
everything else that we do.
Everything else we do, whether it's career, supporting families, everything, except when it comes to money, we feel a dum-dum, which is someone said the other day, which is so bizarre. You know, so really, when you think about it, it does boil down to mindset, taking that first step. And that's what I would say also to, you know, women who are struggling with that, you know, avoidance issue or that resistance about numbers. It's like, obviously you've overcome that kind of avoidance or resistance in some other area of your life already, right? Whether it's starting a business, getting out there and feeling like an imposter, or, you know, losing weight, or in a relationship, or whatever it is. You've already overcome that kind of like, I'm gonna do it, you know. So what did you do to get over in that instance? Did you crack a book? Did you take a course? Did you
ask for help?
For help. Whatever you did, you obviously got through it. So go and do that and apply it in this case, because there is help out there, and it's not all, you know, we're not all old men who are trying to, you know, tell you what to do with your money. No, I'm not trying to be, you know, rude or
No. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
there are you know, people out there who do genuinely want to help and who do have the skills and, you know, like doing it. So jump on board with them and, you know, let them show you the way. And everyone can, you know, we can all take that first step in our life. You know, we all had a first day doing something somewhere. And, you know, we're not all excellent at everything when we, you know, at any point in time. Like, I'm terrible at certain things, you know, absolutely terrible. Sport, you know, I said tennis was terrible. Like, no hand-eye coordination. So, you know, like, it's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got a webinar coming up. Tell us more.
Yeah, I do. I've got a webinar coming up next Tuesday night, the 24th of October at 8 p.m. Going to be doing a webinar for mums, everything's for mums, about 3 secrets to easily creating more cash flow for busy mum. So talking about how to create more cash flow for family holidays, home upgrades, school fees, without giving up your latte.
Is that a unicorn?
No, it's not.
Good. I'll put a link below so everybody can jump on. And is that register for that register for that before Tuesday? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the link will still be there Tuesday, but you know, register whenever you think of doing it. Otherwise, you probably never will because you'll forget about it.
Yeah, in the too hard basket.
Yeah.
Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for bearing with the glitch at the beginning, but so good and refreshing to talk to somebody who is so approachable when it comes to finances. You're not, funnily enough, you're not a stuffy 65-year-old man stuck in the old school days.
I do have a few.
And it motivates me so much to want to take even more control of my finances, and I feel like I've taken some big leaps this year. So thank you for the motivation and the kick up the arse to start doing some of those things. I will also link for everybody your budgeting plan, because I think getting
that's a
great control, but it's just a great place to start, and it can be exciting because it does naturally lead to some of those big picture goals as well.
Yeah, and don't let it piss you off either, because sometimes when people do a budget, really cross with themselves, and you know, they get a bit shameful and a bit cranky.
Yeah,
and they go
and guilty as well.
Yeah. They go, whatever, I'm not doing anything about that. So don't. You know, that might be your first experience with taking control, but let me tell you, you were not alone in that either, and don't let that stop you. So all the more to push on.
And I find the guilt's the hard part. My partner doesn't put that guilt on me, not often anyway. I put it on myself more than anything. It's like when you see it in the black and the white and you're like, God, I've spent how much on eating out or clothes or whatever it might be. You're like, okay, so that's reality. What do I need to do about that moving forward as well? But that awareness is like, if I didn't have that awareness, you do really live with your head in the sand. So
you have to have the awareness. It doesn't matter how much control you take. There'll still be times when you feel guilty for buying something. You know, I feel guilty. Like, as long as it's not to your detriment, you know, it's not sending you backwards, then that's, you know, sometimes every now and then, you know, we have a splurge and we're like, oh, I shouldn't have. But it's not breaking the bank, so to speak.
Yeah. But you've got to understand the bank to even know whether you're breaking it or getting close to it. So
otherwise you just feel guilty
about self-awareness. Thank you so much. It's so great to chat. I really appreciate it. You're amazing, and I think what you're doing for women and business owners and mums as well is just, you know, it's awesome. Like, it's so good. So jump over and check Beck's page out, register for her webinar as well. And if there's any further questions that you've got when you jump off the phone, or you're lying in bed going, oh, I wish I'd questioned about this, just comment below and we'll keep our eye on it. But thank you a million times over. So nice to chat. And thanks everybody for joining us. Happy Monday night.
Thank you, Emily.
See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.